That also felt really right for some reason. I miss it sometimes.
It now feels wrong that I look like this.
It does, kind of. I miss the hair, I miss the mustache, I miss the Vans, It worked for you.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
I kind of miss the mustache as well. Hi, I'm Dan Radcliffe.
And I'm Evan Rachel Wood.
And this is how I became Weird Al.
And how I became Madonna.
I first became a fan of Weird Al properly probably about 10 years ago when my girlfriend and I started dating, and she introduced me to, I knew a few of his songs before that, but truly then my education began. On every road trip or Christmas or whatever it was, we would listen to a lot of it, and yeah, gradually I became very, very well acquainted with it, to the point where I was a fan all on my own by the time that I got the script for this movie.
I believe the Immaculate Collection was one of the first tapes that I became obsessed with. I have a very early memories of being about 4 years old in a tutu with a magic wand and bunny ears in my living room, just putting Material Girl on repeat and just dancing and singing. I even would stay home sick from school sometimes to lip sync Madonna in the living room. I got caught once, so. I got an email one day, sort of out of the blue. I wasn't really planning on doing any other projects that year, and then it just said, "You've been offered the role of Madonna." I immediately started laughing, and then read the synopsis and realized it was a Weird Al biopic. It was a parody. Dan was playing Weird Al. It was like the Funny or Die guys, and I just thought, oh my God, you know what? I'm off my sabbatical. I have to do this, and so I just jumped in.
We are all grateful.
Yeah.
I similarly, I got an email about the project for the first time and read the logline of just it's a Weird Al biopic and you would be playing Weird Al, and my immediate reaction was oh, that's incredibly cool, maybe, but there are definitely people that are closer to him physically and that I would have maybe thought of first. Then I started reading the script and I realized right, that doesn't matter. No, accuracy is not what we're doing here. So yeah, as of that point, it was just such a well-written script as well. Yes, it's a very funny premise and context, but actually the way it's executed and the precision and thoroughness with which it gets at the musical biopic genre is it came through in the script, and it was obviously going to be insanely fun to make. Mm-hmm. By the time you get to the end and I'm machine gunning down a room full of cocaine in walking down the table, I'm this is insane. This will be great fun.
Yeah.
All I want to say is be as weird as you want to be. Yeah!
In terms of actually getting into character, I think there's the aspect of Al that is in the movie that is true to life, which is the sort of sweet earnestness that he begins the film with, and so that was obviously something you can sort of observe in him and channel, and that was good. But after a certain point, the version of Al in the movie becomes so different from the real human being that it wasn't so much gathering inspiration from the real man as much as maybe the tenor of some of the songs, and obviously part of the madness of UHF.
Rewatched UHF, Desperately Seeking Susan, watched so many of her interviews from the early 80s when she was just sort of coming on the scene. Watched the Weird Al parody interview that he did with her that he edited together himself. Definitely gave that one a gander. Constantly on set, we were listening to Madonna and Weird Al music all the time. And then before takes, I would sort of have an interview or something of hers that I would listen to or listen in my trailer just so I had her voice in my head before we started shooting. I really wanted to get the voice down. She has such a specific way of speaking. And so I was if I can get this down, if I can get the mannerisms down, if the audience is coming with me at the beginning of the film, then they'll go with me where we're going later on, which is completely insane and not Madonna in another dimension where she's a drug lord. And so, yeah, there were things I wanted to get right. Even when, I'm just sitting there in a scene, you can't just sit how you normally would. You have to sit like Madonna would. There's things that you have to bring to every little moment because it counts. But it's much less pressure when you know that you can sort of go off the rails a little bit and, it's not totally rooted in truth. the majority, but not all of it.
Yeah. Similarly, there's the elements of Al that I sort of mentioned before, that like sweetness and that kindness, and that's very present, I think, at the beginning of the movie. But I do think there's also like the secret to Al's success is that sweetness and that kindness sits alongside a kind of like a mania and a kind of feral quality that is there in his like live performances and some of like the UHF moments and stuff. So I feel like trying to capture like those two things, those were the parts of his character that I guess I really honed in on. And then when it comes to the insane part of the film, you just turn up the feral to 11. And that was basically. But yeah, it's also, as Evan says, like it's a lot of permission to. You give a lot of license to go crazy and be very far from the actual reality by the end of the film, because it's all so nuts.
My whole life, all I wanted.
I'm afraid we found your son at a polka party.
Is to make up new words to a song that already exists.
Oh, well, you should do that then.
The costume fittings were amazing, and it was like, okay, cool, yeah, this is coming together. You know, it was nice to see it. Honestly, seeing the wig, glasses, costume, and accordion together for the first time was the moment when you're like, oh yeah, okay, this can work. This is gonna look all right.
It felt so right. I miss it sometimes.
It now feels wrong that I look like this.
It does, kind of. Like, I miss the hair, I miss the mustache, I miss the Vans, you know. It worked for you.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
I kind of missed the mustache as well.
But it was, you really do feel like Madonna. When you walk into a trailer that says Madonna on it, you're putting on all the bracelets and the crucifix, you've got the hair and the makeup going on, but it really feels complete once the beauty mark was put on. It was just like, boom, now we're here. Now she has arrived. And people treat you like Madonna when you look like Madonna. I've noticed, like, when I would come to set, it would be Madonna's on her way, Madonna's just landed, Madonna needs a green tea. And then, I would see people get visibly flustered when they saw me, because it's just like instinct almost. Like, can't help it.
When Evan just walked on, me and the whole set just went, oh, holy like, that's gonna be awesome. Like, it was a very, like, you felt a ripple around the crew of being like, oh, wow, like, yeah, no, it was
We're
just
really
like,
doing
this is gonna work. Yeah. She's just awesome. Like, she's incredibly talented, and like the performance was obviously like off the chart. Like, the Madonna was like off the charts good, like, immediately. Our first day was like all the crazy violent makeout scenes, and we were doing that, and also the first one was us like rolling along down a hallway and knocking a painting down. We were like figuring out how to both roll and for the painting to knock, and you were like, oh well, when we go around the corner I can hit it with my hand. And like, it just like, there's just like a technical awareness and a problem solving thing which like not everyone has, which I was like, oh cool, we need that as well. We've got 18 days, thank God she's like this.
It's true. Oh my God. Well, and same, like there was an immediate sort of understanding whenever you're working with another person that grew up in the industry and was a child star, and it's like, oh, you grew up in the circus as well. So like there are things that you get that not everybody does. And, as you mentioned, there's like a proficiency on set because of that. But what really impressed me, like, I was always a fan of Daniel's work, but really, sometimes you work with people and then you're like a super fan because you see their process and what kind of an actor they are. And I was impressed by just how fully committed he was at all times. He was in every scene. There was 18 days. It's a high energy performance. And like, I never saw you get tired or like not give as much energy than you did the first time. And I thought that was incredibly impressive for something like this, to like maintain that level the whole time.
I was wondering if you were going to do a parody of my song, Like a Virgin.
I'm curious, is that song autobiographical?
Yes. Except for the fact that I've had a lot of sex.
I don't know.
Like, we had one dinner, and that was
we
nice.
had one dinner, yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think it was just sort of just to make it as weird as possible, honestly. Like, that's not even a stock answer. Like, it was truly just like, how ridiculous can we can we make this? How insane can we make Madonna? Like, how far can we push this?
We had this dinner the night before we started with our director, and then the next day we were doing the crazy crashing around the house scene. So it was like, there was either going to be chemistry or there wasn't, and so we just had to start.
Yeah, we had no choice. But what was really funny was going and watching playback and watching us make out and being like, wow, that's what it would look like if Madonna and Weird Al were making out. That's it. Like, we're watching like, you could kind of remove yourself from it in a weird way. So I just love that we were finally getting to tell their love story.
So I'm just gonna throw this out there. Weird Al Yankovic.
I love it.
Working with Rain was funny. I mean, like, I don't get to work with comedians that often, and so that was a real treat for me. And then we had to, like, pass our gum back and forth in the scene, and Rain kept making jokes, like, the whole time. That was slightly... If we weren't making out throughout the whole scene, I probably would have been laughing the whole time, just because, like, I'm no match for somebody like him.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I was remembering earlier one of the things that kept making me laugh was actually in the pool party scene, which was just, I'd be doing like a scene with Rain or a scene with, you know, one of the guys in the band, and then I would just see out of the corner of my eye Yorma Takomi as Pee Wee Herman just sort of walking over in a Pee Wee walk, and it was just like, the most distracting thing on the film. Jack Black was amazing as well. Like, because everybody on this, like, you know, it was a fast shoot, but we were on it the whole time, and we knew it was a fast shoot. Whereas, like, Jack Black was having to come in for one scene and do a really big scene and a bit important performance with, like, just from a standing start, and he was, just amazing.
Hungry one, open up a package of my banana.
Dude, I've got chills.
Certainly no one was expecting me to be able to actually play anything in the film, but I think it was just a sort of best efforts thing where you're like, well, I'm playing Weird Al, what would I be doing with my life if I didn't even just like try for a bit? I really enjoyed learning what I learned. It was also, it did end up being incredibly useful for filming, and I like to think that Eric, our director, didn't have to shoot around it as much as he would have had I done no lessons. But yeah, it's a fiendishly hard instrument. And Al, he's a lovely teacher, but I think Al has forgotten how bad it's possible for another person to be at the accordion, because he's great. So like, he's playing stuff pretty fast, and I'm like going like, okay, you're gonna need to just slow those hands down because I cannot see what you're doing. But yeah, it was I can take that to my grave that I had accordion lessons with Weird Al.
That's pretty cool. It's like getting a guitar lesson from Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Put it in.
When Weird Al would talk to me after scenes about those scenes and the performance, he seemed to be enjoying it. He certainly wasn't giving any like performance notes, but he would often come in at the end of a scene and just, you know, say great job and like how much he enjoyed something, and you know, when he is saying that and you are playing him, you do go, okay, you know, I'm still nervous about all this, but I'm relaxing a little bit if you're having a good time. So yeah, it was reassuring.
Yes, it was like a safety net, and anytime you were making Al laugh, it just put the wind in your sails. Oh. It was great. I would see him just sort of pop up out of the corner of my eye, you know, on set. You would just kind of see him, you know, behind the scenes. But he sort of kept his distance until, you know, the end of the day. And then he came up to me and, like, gave me a hug and was like, oh, my God, your voice, your everything, what you're doing, just thank you. It's so good. And that was like, oh, okay, good. We're there. We got this. Al likes it.
What can I say? I'm full of surprises.
What will Madonna think about this film? That has yet to be seen, but I think she'll have a good sense of humor. I believe that one of the things that is true in the film is that she did, like, seek out Al to parody one of her songs, and so she must be a fan. I've met her before, seemed to be very friendly. I hope that continues after this film is out, but I think she'll like it. I think it should make her laugh, I hope.
Oh, Al, you can't smoke in here. I totally deserve that.
You know, I thought it would be more divisive, honestly, so far. Like, I thought some people would be like, this is too crazy. So just the fact that it seems to be finding its audience, and the fact that Al fans do seem to really be into it and see it for what it is, which is like a massive, crazy celebration of him, is, yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's so fun. I mean, hearing the audience reaction, just seeing it grow, you know, we had a lot of fun making it, but the fact that, yeah, it is sort of like taking the world by storm right now is weirdly fitting. Like, I think people need it and want it, and like, it's such a good laugh. It's so nostalgic. There's all these characters that we know and love, but you're seeing them in just completely insane ways, and so it's like, what's not to like?
Yeah. I do think it does make me really happy for Al. I do think it has
Yeah.
it has prompted just like a sort of moment of cultural appreciation of Al and everything he's done, which is like I'm all for that.
Absolutely.